Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to ColdplayXtra Live. We're joined today, after a long time, with Celine from Coldplay. Celine, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are
And
you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So happy to see you again. And we are joined with a new guest, Tugçe. Tugçe, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm very good. I'm very happy.
That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And we'll get into why you both are kind of looking happier than everyone else in the world right now. It's because fans in Europe, Coldplay have finally arrived, and oh boy, do they have some new
Yes.
tricks up their sleeves. The band's first European tour in 5 years is kicked off in Frankfurt over the weekend, and we thought we'd review the show and obviously just talk about your experiences with the two people who actually got to go, Celine and Tuche. Um, and oh my god, we have a lot of interesting and fun things to get into, and I'm really,
Yeah.
really excited. And I hope the chat is as well. Chat, if you want to ask questions, if you went to the show in Frankfurt, anything at all, just jump in. Always happy to have you. And also, if you're in the US, happy 4th of July if you're celebrating. Otherwise, it's a regular Monday for everyone else. Um, so, one last reminder before we really, really get into it. If you're going to a show, please, please, please tag us on Instagram and, photos, videos, everything. That way, the wider Coldplay community gets to see what you got to experience, and that's basically what our job is. And obviously, again, a big thanks to Celine and the Coldplaying team for everything that they do, and for the community, and all the fan accounts, and everyone who puts in the work, just for the love of the band. So we really, really appreciate it, obviously. Um, Oh, hey, someone from Greece. That's awesome. Okay, let's get into it. Celine, I'm going to start with you. I have a very small, quick question. It's not that complicated. How are you feeling?
I feel like I'm on a cloud. I've been feeling like I'm on a cloud ever since the concert. Surprisingly, I'm alive, which is a surprise because Coldplay repeatedly attempted to murder me on Saturday night. So, but I made it through. So
You've made
yeah,
it
I'm
through.
great now. I've been too happy to watch sad TV shows, which is quite an impressive feat for me. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Love that. Duce, are you alive? Is this all a figment of our imaginations?
I don't
How
know.
is
I
this
don't know.
happening?
I feel like I'm so happy since Saturday. I have a serotonin boost, even though I had a problematic way back home. But I don't mind at all. I feel so happy. I don't know. It's the energy is something else. So yeah.
So, just to summarize, both of you went to night one of Coldplay Frankfurt, where we got obviously a show in Europe, the Coldplay show in Europe, which in itself is absolutely incredible. But we also got some incredible setlist changes. And, we'll get into all of that, but let's build it
Mhm.
up a little bit. So, teacher, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you prepped for the show the day before? Did you do anything special? How did you get ready to see Coldplay live?
Mm. So Frankfurt was a bit spontaneous for me. I didn't plan to go to Frankfurt at first, but then I thought it's on a Saturday. I could go. So I bought my ticket last week. And yeah, the day before, I packed all my essentials, what I need and not. And yeah, I just, I had no hotel, so I had to really get the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was exciting. I felt so excited the whole week. I cried, I danced, I screamed the whole week and couldn't concentrate at all at work.
Oh, I
But
love that.
yeah, yeah,
Nice.
the journey was nice. I drove at night
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I prepared myself in the bathroom of the rail station in the morning. Yeah, so it was a nice journey.
That's
Mm,
amazing. That's amazing.
yeah.
Celine, did you prep in any special way? I know you had a lot of difficulties to get through before the preparation for the show.
Yeah, well, it's just that I wasn't feeling well all that week, so it's actually a surprise that I managed to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I rested a lot on the day, and my friend Claire, who was with me at the show. She was at the stadium all afternoon, but I just stayed at the hotel like a lazy and exhausted person. But she, in the preparation to the show, so we didn't plan originally. It was quite spontaneous as well, but we bought our tickets in like last month, a few weeks ago. We decided to go. It was my birthday. I was at Claire's place, and at that time she wasn't working, and so she was bored, and so she was always thinking of Coldplay, obviously. And so she was like, yeah, Frankfurt is on a Saturday, maybe we should go there. And we were just waiting for something to cook in the oven, and was like, okay, let's do it. And so we just organized it like that, and we found tickets, and we eventually managed to arrive in Frankfurt. Claire bought us some alien masks that were really cool. It's just the Toy Story alien thing. Really, it's nothing special, but everybody loved it. So that was a great addition.
Yeah, I can say the same. I had my alien heads too.
Oh, yeah. Wait, but oh my God! Actually, I pointed at you at the stadium. I saw you inside the stadium, and I swear to God, I pointed at you. I was talking to Claire. I was like, "Oh wait, this girl has something really cool." And I saw you pass by. I recognized you.
I didn't see you. No, it was really something. I prepared it for Berlin and Paris actually, but I took it with me obviously. And yeah, everyone after the show spoke to me, and they said, "Oh, I saw you on the screen," and I was like, "Oh." Yeah, it was a great addition, definitely. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. Well, the thing is, I'm getting so much, post-concert depression, and I'm not even in Frankfurt. So just hearing your stories it's absolutely incredible. How was the lining up experiences? I know, Celine, that you kind of had to go back and forth, but did you have a chance to meet some co-players? How was the lining up experience, basically?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I heard early entries, so there was many people at first, but I met Marin. She's incredible. She has a lot of experience. And I met Marciano, who I bought my ticket from last week. And yeah, we had early entry. And because of my alien eyes, and some people recognized me, like Christina. She came to me and said, "Are you Tugçe?" And I was like, "Yes, who are you?" Because I didn't know their faces. And it was so nice to meet them. I met Trina from behind, and there were some people who I met, and it was very great to see them. Not just it was nice to have a face behind all those accounts.
That's awesome. That's absolutely incredible, and that's what the magic is, right? You meet our community, online, but obviously when you have to meet them in person, it's a whole different thing, and it's so special because I've seen you, I've known about your Coldplay stuff for so many years, etc., etc. So it's always so special.
Yeah, it feels like you know them for ages, even though you've just met.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exactly. Feeling is something else.
Yeah, it's like meeting old friends, but for the first time. It's
right.
It's surreal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you got in. Was it? I think I'm kind of asking for future shows in Europe, especially. Celine, how was the crowd? Was it like, what time did you, if you really, really want to get barrier, what time do you realistically have to get there?
In Europe, well, it depends on the city, but if you want barrier, you have to be very early in the morning. With the early entry, that sort of changes things, obviously, because there are lots of early entry tickets. So if you have early entry and you show up sometime in the morning, I think you're good.
Right.
If you don't have early entry, you have to be lucky to be able to have the barrier, because there are lots of early entry tickets, so you do have to expect that. But the front row is good news. The stage is huge, so there's always a shot.
Right.
But do show up early in the morning. That's preferable. Not like there's no point in something that we need to repeat every time. There's no point in sleeping in before the concert at the stadium. There's no point whatsoever. But yeah, in the morning.
I can say the most people came around 9 a.m. They started to come, and that was a good time because it was hot that day. So there's really no need to go that early.
And if you do want to, like, if you're with friends and you're not sure of like if you're able to come early, know that in most stadiums the pitch is so big that even if the date is fully sold out, there are areas in the back. And so I arrived quite late, but we were somehow able to get to that area that is quite on the front of the stadium, but we were at the back of the crowd, and I was able to like go to the barrier at some point. It was really at the far end of the stage, but still it's a great spot. And it's great when you're with friends, sometimes who are not necessarily like big Coldplay fans, for instance. It's great because it's more chill, so it's more comfortable, and you can dance around and have your own little fun party. It's you still have that great experience without the pressure, I'd say, of like having to queue very early. So it's still possible if you don't queue early. It's just like don't expect the greatest spot if you don't show up in the morning.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I get that. And you know, there is as for American viewers, and I guess other viewers as well, there is obviously a much bigger tradition of GA shows and stadium shows in Europe, so people are a lot more experienced in how they want to go about doing that. But as Celine and Tugçe have said, it's a huge stadium. No spot's a bad spot at a Coldplay show.
Yeah.
So you know, you're always gonna be in for a good time, basically.
The most important with the Coldplay concert is just to be in the room. That's it.
Exactly.
That's the most important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. And then you're in. You're there. You have your spot. Tugçe, I know you were on Johnny's side of A stage. Celine, you ended up on Guy's side right at the end of the somewhere in the back, but in the front section near the barriers. Another very fun spot because you have enough place to like dance and but also when Guy or Chris come over to that side, you can always go after the barrier as well. So very fun. Love that. Then I kind of want to know your thoughts on the opener. So of course we had her perform here in the US, but you had Ali Newman, I believe, as the first opener. So Tugçe, did you have any standout moments with the openers?
I'd never heard of her before, but she was great. She had a lot of energy, and she was very excited to be in front of such a big crowd, I guess. And she was really good. She had a nice energy, and we could dance along. And yeah, I really liked her, and she had some good songs. That's amazing. So I understood why Coldplay chose her. She was really good. Yeah.
Celine, any thoughts, especially on her?
I think I arrived in the middle of her set. I was no wait. I arrived before her set. No, I don't remember. Anyway, the sound wasn't great because when I was during the opening act, I was like at the very back of the stadium. So the sound really wasn't great because there was a lot of echo, and so I didn't really hear her like that well. Like I was. You know, like you're immersed in the music, but you don't really work out what's going on because of all the echo. But she's like so powerful and so interesting. So that was an interesting set. I just wish I would see her like maybe in a different setting because I wasn't like the conditions weren't ideal for me to really enjoy it. I read some fans say that there was actually like some kind of issue with the sound on the first date because on the second date, the opening acts sounded better apparently. So I'm glad they fixed it.
I see. That was an issue in Atlanta too. The opening acts did not sound great, and then they opened the roof, and thankfully Coldplay sounded much better. But that's usually an issue with indoor stadiums. I've seen in lots of places, not just Europe or the US. Like generally, indoor stadiums are very hard to figure out sonically because there's so
Mm.
many different echoes and the way it's all gonna go. So I can completely understand that.
Mm.
But I will say I think her definitely won a lot of fans among co-players.
Mm.
She puts in a
Mm.
lot of energy and she's so talented. She can play every single instrument really. So
Yeah,
Mm.
go
her
see her.
voice is
Yeah.
incredible, and her back vocalists, they sounded amazing too. They are great
Yeah.
singers,
Yeah,
all five
exactly.
of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was so surprised because like so she was rocking this guitar for a while and then suddenly I see her behind the drums and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I know. It makes you
It
feel
was
so
great.
inadequate. You're like, well, I can barely
Yes.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Um, okay, the openers are done. They've done their thing. They've passed some time for you. It's still daylight outside, which by the way for a lot of us is very interesting. We'll get into that a little bit. But you know Coldplay are about to come on. They're basically like 10 minutes away.
Mm.
How are you feeling? Are you Tucci, I want to start with you because I know
Yeah.
this is your
Mhm.
first proper Coldplay show. You saw
Yeah.
them in Global Citizen when Shakira came on, which in itself
Yes.
is an incredible story.
Yeah, definitely.
But how were you feeling specifically? Like, were you nervous? Were you excited? Were you bored just waiting around? Like, what was the feeling?
No, I was so excited. You don't get bored easily because your friends are around and the crew is setting up the stage. So everything looked interesting. Like, what are they doing? Who are they? And then Chris's brother came in front of us. He went backstage, and Marin knew him,
Mm-hmm.
and he came up close to us, and I could look him right in the eyes, and his eyes were just looking like Chris's eyes. He was so sweet, yeah. And yeah, I was just so excited, and we waited for the introduction, so we knew, okay, they're coming. Yeah, my heart was racing very much. Yeah.
That's no, that's true. I have Nathan here talking about the only bad spots in a Coldplay concert are behind people over 6 feet, and
Yeah.
I agree. As someone who is over 6 feet, I do feel bad for everyone behind me
Yeah.
a little bit. Um, yeah, someone else here is also agreeing the sound in Night One wasn't great.
Ah,
They all agreed sound Night One wasn't that great, but
Mhm.
Night Two was much better. Ah, well, sometimes that can happen. I
okay.
agree, but
Yeah.
let's get into it then. Celine, were you feeling any different? This is your first show in a long time, so were you also just nervous and
Yeah.
full like jittery? You're like, okay, come on, just get it over with.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's funny because I guess the fact that I arrived late at the stadium,
Hmm.
I got maybe less time to be to get all the build up, and so I recognized the music, not the ET music, but the like the Brian Eno sort of music
Right.
that they put before the show, and I was like, wait, isn't this supposed to be like in half an hour or something? Because it was still almost like broad daylight at that point.
Hmm.
And so I was like, oh yeah, like we have time. And
Yeah.
then Nathan was right next to me. He was like, no, they're on in like 3 minutes after this. And we're like, oh shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so I think at that point we had already started to move closer to the stage on Guy's side. So yeah, we were busy like trying to figure out our spot and stuff. So that's how, and so it was like when they arrived, it was really fully like the shock of the concert beginning. So yeah, that was a new thing. That was a new thing because usually I'm here for the whole thing and the whole experience during the day, and so yeah, I do feel the tension being
Hmm.
building up and building up. Yeah, so that was
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. And then you have the logo comes up. Which by the way, I tweeted this once. When the logo comes out, it's a 10-minute warning. Don't get excited. Everyone pulls
Mm.
out their phones and like,
I
calm down.
know.
It's okay,
Oh
calm
my
down.
God, I know. Oh my God, we were so annoyed because everybody was like, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, come
Yeah.
on.
Wait. Relax.
Yeah, first the introduction, there were two people who introduced them, and then there is the video of the sustainability
Yeah.
acts and so on. And I cried there when I heard their voices. Just from the video, I
Right?
had to cry.
Oh, it's a shock. It's a shock for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
It's also
It's
so
like, wait,
comforting
we're
too.
yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe that's why I
Yeah.
cried. It was familiar voices coming from up there. Oh, yeah.
So
It's the
good.
warmth. It's the warmth.
Yeah.
It's like when they come at some point, you feel some warmth because you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're here.
It's
Oh,
like
it's nice.
family. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the intro video, the sustainability video is over. The escapist in the background while they're speaking is so
Mm.
comforting. Right? Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
I
Finally.
know.
And then the ET
Yeah.
Oh.
music starts, and then you can see them walking in, and then you're like,
Yeah.
wait,
Mhm.
they're actually here. Let me try and see
Yeah.
them. Uh, and then they walk out, and you can hear music off the spheres, and then it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Goosebump City. That's it.
Mhm.
Oh,
But
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we start with higher power. But I have a question before we get into it. For everyone who's basically not in Europe, how does a concert in the daylight translate? Because Coldplay are, let's be honest, an incredible nighttime band because they have so many lights and fireworks and etc. etc. And a lot of their music kind of resonates more at nighttime too. So how does that kind of work? Do you think it dampens the experience a little bit? Do you think the band did enough to kind of work with that? Because I know like in Higher Power they had color like smoke of some sort that they used in the
yeah.
Brit Awards
Yeah.
Mhm.
last year. So they tried different tricks, and there was obviously confetti and all that still translates well in the daylight. But the bands don't really work for a while. So Celine, I want to start with
Mm.
you. Does it dampen it, or is it like kind of magical in the way the show starts in the day and ends in the night?
Well, there is the point about the xylophones that indeed they are pretty much rendered useless for a while, especially at the beginning of the show. And so we were like, oh well.
Ah,
but but really, that's the only downside of it. Overall, the energy is really enough to just transport you in this dreamy place
mm-hmm.
that you're in. And so there's like it doesn't really get in the way of enjoying the concert fully. And yeah, I'm so used to it because European stadium concerts, that's really just it always starts in daylight.
Yeah.
So it's like for me it's the norm. Like I was at the festival before, and it doesn't like for me it's not a shock that it would start while it's today. It's just that I think it would be different if it was really um like it starts, but you can tell that it's going to be the sunset soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell it's like the golden hour or whatever.
Right.
So it's like if it had been like middle of the afternoon kind of blue, then I think that would be a bit different for sure in terms of atmosphere. But the fact is it starts when it's getting closer to sunset, so it does have like a poetic atmosphere to it already.
Mm-hmm.
And the confetti definitely help.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. We have a picture here of our very own Ian, who's having a great time. Absolutely no idea that you're
Yeah.
taking a picture of him. It's a great picture. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's a
he has
nice
no
one.
idea that this was going to be up, so he's probably going to tell me, like, why did you put that up?
It's going to fire you for the 12th time.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
okay.
exactly. And teacher, for you, is the
Yeah.
daylight just a great excuse to just see the band more clearly than you would have otherwise?
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. Just before Coldplay came on stage, the sun set. It really blinded us, the sun,
Mm-hmm.
after her
Oh,
set.
true.
Yeah, but I had a déjà vu from the Brit Awards when High Power started with the colors, and I felt like I'm
Mm.
watching the Brit shows again. But it was just the feeling, and the colors looked good with the golden sun, and it was really nice. It didn't bother me at all. Like Celine said, the only downside was the wristbands didn't light up, or we
Yeah.
couldn't see the wristbands, but that was okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Well, you also
Mhm.
ended up on the big screen. We have that up here as well. I know you ended up on the big screen a couple of times. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Always love seeing yourself on the big screen.
I
Nice.
couldn't see myself actually, but the cameraman came in front of me like 3 times, and he wanted me to
Oh.
sing. Yeah, wanted me to
Yeah.
sing into the camera. And yeah, some Eva recorded me. She catched a glimpse, and Claire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Embarrassing. Oh.
No, that's so cool. That's actually so cool.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. We love it so much.
Yeah.
I have to. I don't want to. Look. I would love to keep dragging on and building up the anticipation. But Celine, one of the main reasons I invited you here is to talk about one of the biggest surprises we got in the show on Saturday and yesterday too, in a different way. But this is something that was hinted at by Phil Harvey himself on our stream last year. We didn't really think it was going to come true. But they played a song they haven't played in Europe since 2011 and a song they haven't played live since 2016 in Argentina. They finally played Politic live immediately after Clocks. Celine, this is all you. This is your favorite song.
Ah!
How? What? Why? What happened? Explain.
I don't know. I don't know because honestly, I always told people that I was cursed setlist wise with Coldplay. And so like this is insane. Like my curse is finally over. Because like this is my favorite song of all time. And the first time I started seeing Coldplay was the stadium tour for 2012. So that was like the tour right after they stopped playing it. So basically they had played it all the time up until I decided to buy tickets. So so like I felt really, really cursed. And that it finally happened was like such a shock. Like the like I mean I knew it would happen at some point during this tour because they had been rehearsing
Right.
like every date. And
I
and
heard
like
it a little bit too, I think.
and like if I mean with like how shitty the world is right now, it's actually surprising that they haven't played it like sooner in some way. But I get it in terms of set list and like overall atmosphere that it doesn't necessarily fit. So yeah, so it was a shock, especially as Ian expected it, like he was praying for it during the show, but like at another moment, and that moment went by, and so we were like, okay, it's not happening. And so there's Clocks, and then not like they don't even finish the song, and then suddenly here we go, and it's like this absolute shock between all of us. So there was Claire, Nathan, Ian and his friends, and me, and we were like, what? And we exploded. We were like, oh, and and then I pretty much collapsed like on the floor, like on my knees.
Yeah.
And I dropped my glasses, and and I got them back luckily before anybody stepped on it. And then I got up and I saw that, and then Yen was like, "Oh shit, I have to record this," and so he started recording it.
Yeah.
And that was I was crying and shaking like throughout the song, really, pretty much. I was trying to enjoy it, but I was also like really overwhelmed because I was like, and yeah, and it was honestly it was genuinely like a shock and emotion aside, it was truly a good performance. Like you could tell that it was really well rehearsed. Like it's not like lots of other songs that they've done before that they try to make a comeback, but they rehearse it once or something, and then it doesn't really it sort of like falls apart during the concert, and then they never try it again. That wasn't it. Like that was serious. Like you could tell Chris was very focused, and and it was also like sort of a feeling of like introspection. Like like he was really like almost singing to himself. He was very it was very natural, very raw, and very restrained, very sensitive, like very intimate. It was it felt very intimate, which is how this which is surprisingly how this song actually is. Like it's very big music wise, but it's very, very, very intimate lyrics wise, and it really translated well. And also I don't know about whether that's the best part on the set list, but honestly the fact that it was right after Clocks, I think it fit right in because it was pretty much the only time of the concert where the mood was sort of similar, I guess.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah, so it didn't it was a shock because it was politic, but I don't think otherwise it would feel like such a shock to keep performing it around that time.
Right, right.
And yeah, it was fantastic. Honestly, it was so good. And if you people have seen the stream, you may have seen me at the end having an emotional breakdown. So yeah, that was me. And then they go straight to Infinity Sign, and so I was back on like jumping around as people could have seen. But yeah, it was definitely, it's something I will never forget. The exact moment when we all realized that this was politic is something that is like really permanently engraved in my brain. Like I remember Jan's
same.
face very clearly. Like, and I often don't really have that many memories from Coldplay concerts because I'm too, like, the moment is so intense that it all blurs in the end, which is okay. Like, it's meant to be lived in the moment. It's not just meant to be a memory. So it's fine not to remember everything. But this very specific moment, I'm sure I will remember it like for a very, very long time. Yeah, for
Same.
sure.
Yeah.
Tugçe,
Same for me, yeah.
I remember seeing your video on Twitter of the ending of Clocks, and
Yeah.
Johnny kind of just doing that same
Oh, yeah.
loop, and then just Will's drum going, and then like half a second later it's the familiar start of Politic, and you're losing your absolute shit.
Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible.
I mean, they sound checked it a few times, so we knew it will come at some point, but we didn't know when. So when it started, I really couldn't believe it. I'd lost my shit. Seriously, I couldn't believe it. And yeah, the boy next to me asked, "What song is this?" I was
no.
like, "Hello, it's
Oh
Politic."
God.
He asked which album, and I lost my mind at the point. And yeah, I was headbanging so hard, and the flashlights. I couldn't see the stage at some points because the lights were really, really bright. I mean, I was at the barricade, but I will never forget this moment. The shock first, and then the song, like Celine described, it was really intimate. Like Chris was in somewhere else, another universe, and yeah, it felt so good. Really, the performance was great. We enjoyed it. We screamed so much, jumped so much, headbanged, and yeah, it was really amazing because it was unexpected.
Right.
And Red City said it fit perfectly after Clocks. We were in the same mood, so it was really unforgettable. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm seeing some comments here on the stream. A lot of people, some talking about they didn't believe they would play it even after it was sound checked. And this is true. I heard them sound check One I Love in New York.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at this point, I didn't believe it either. Like they're just doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
But then they actually did it. And the fact that they played it again the night too, but they played it after Let Somebody Go. Well, firstly, that's just
Interesting.
crime against humanity. You can't just
Yeah.
shock people that way. Secondly,
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
I know.
definitely.
Oh my God.
Like, what the fuck?
I was, at one point, I really liked that song. I really like Let Somebody Go. I know people make fun of it. I genuinely like it. And then I'm like in that moment, like, oh, okay, this is good. And then just the next second, I heard like I was watching it on some stream. And you hear some, piano interlude, and then you're like,
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam. I'm like, oh, okay, whoa, you gotta calm down. But what it shows us is that they're serious about keeping it on the set list.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. There's a war in Europe. Things are kind of not great in a lot of places right now. It fits that particular section of the show as well, in terms of clocks and there being a little bit of emotional stuff, and then there being a little bit of light club stuff. So there's all kinds of.
Yeah.
I think that it's a good avenue to put that song in, without really taking anything away from the rest of the show. So, well, all I can hope is that they play it well when they come back to the US, but we'll see. You both were also really lucky to hear a small amount of this new remix from Paradise, that I think was only a one-off, really, but I've heard that song generally on Spotify again. I think it's like number 3 or something trending in Germany generally. and the singer is like sampled Paradise. Did you like Tugçe? You were right up there, so you could probably feel the flames behind you as well, in front of you. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you like that remix, that ending to Paradise?
Yeah, it was unexpected too. I was like, what is going on? I thought it will end, the song ends, and then the flames came up and Johnny was there and I felt the heat. I didn't expect it at all. At all. I was like, what is this? What is going on? And I shared a video of that too. I was like, what the fuck? What is happening? But it was so good. I don't know. And Chris was not on the stage as I can remember. I just had Johnny in front of me with the flames. It was such a wonderful view, and the song was energetic. I don't know any German raps, even though I live here, but yeah, it was really good. I hope they keep it because it's some flavor. It's nice. It was nice. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would strongly encourage you and everyone who's watching to like go check out that song. I think it's really really good. I've been kind of obsessed with it ever since it came out. And also, if you want to see Celine, a nice, emotional, fun, wholesome reaction to politics, it is on our Coldplay Extra Instagram page. Ian did do a live, which was like about 3 minutes, so you get half the song and you get to see Celine also having a lot of fun. So you can go check that out as well, if you want. I'm just checking out the comments here a little bit. Claire, also from Coldplay, talking about some people not recognizing Politic. And she said, can't be as bad as the guy who was Shazamming Yellow, which is also,
Yeah.
which is,
But I mean, we can't blame them. They didn't play it for 10 years, so
Yeah,
fair.
maybe
apology,
it's
yeah,
because
for
of that.
sure.
Yeah.
I think a
Nobody
lot,
knows this song anymore.
yeah, I think a lot
Yeah.
of people are gonna go back and be like, what was that song? What was that song? And they're all
Yeah.
gonna, the
Yeah,
streaming numbers always increase a lot after shows.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Liaz is the artist. One of the comments here, and so definitely, yeah, go check that out. The last one that I want to talk about, Duce, you can probably tell me if this is good or not, was Magic in
Yeah.
German.
Yeah.
Firstly, Chris Martin is an incredible human being. He's super considerate, super thoughtful. So is the rest of the
Yeah.
band. But Chris is also one of the most brave people I have seen, because attempting a
Definitely.
song in German
Yeah.
is
I know.
is interesting. How did it translate? Did it work? Did the crowd love it? Like, what was the reaction?
Yeah. It was really nice. I was expecting something. I just had a breakdown at Sparks. I cried so much because Sparks is like my life. And I had a breakdown, so I needed a second to come to myself. And we knew, or I knew that they will do something in German, maybe, or we'll have a guest. So, because of the other shows we've seen. And when he said that he was doing magic in German, I was kind of shocked, but it felt nice because, he's always apologizing for his bad German. And then he came up with such a good pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
We could understand everything. And it was really nice. We could sing along at the end, like aber nein, aber nein, aber nein, aber nein. It was so sweet. I mean, I've been singing it in German for since Saturday,
I
and it
love
was
that.
really good and sweet, and it sounded so good and fit perfectly. It was really, really nice. It felt so special to have it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand. I think
yeah,
whenever they do something, I know people talk like, oh, why don't you play this X Y Z rare song
yeah,
from this album or that album? But when they do something so thoughtful that like
yeah,
speaks out to the people what they're trying to connect with, I think it's always very
exactly. Yeah.
interesting. But I
Mhm.
think they did play it in English tonight too. So
No.
Yeah.
no more
Oh no.
No more Auburnians, sadly.
Well, I was lucky
Oh.
again. Yeah.
Um, and I think the show looked absolutely amazing. I have to say, some of the pictures that you guys took as well. Serena, I think I have your picture here with the confetti.
Mhm.
Mm,
I know daylight is an issue, but also makes some incredible photography for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
outside of all the things that we've talked about in the new surprises, what was something? What was outside of Politic? Because we know Politic was your favorite. Outside of that, what did you think was your favorite part of the concert?
Um, That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I can't because, well, obviously, but yeah, politics does take an overwhelming big spot in my heart, and it was more about the overall experience for me, I guess, than one specific moment on the set list. Like everything was a highlight, really, and it was really for me. I think it was really just like it was the first time that I was like both chill and having a lot of fun on the pitch at a Coldplay concert. And it was just like to dance with my Coldplay friends and be able to like get to the barrier for like a sky full of stars and moments like that that really made the night for me. It was the whole thing. Yeah, I do have to agree with Ian, who always says that Sky is Full of Stars is the best, blah, 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 blah. It's true that it was a highlight that night. I mean, and at least for me, because we really had a great experience. But honestly, like the Light Club, that's a Light Club, right? That's how I call it. How do they call it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Light Club.
Honestly, when you're a fan, it's a great moment. It's like it's so much fun.
Yeah.
We were dancing, we were doing Chris's moves, and then people were pointing at us in the crowd like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing?" And we're like, "Look, that's what he's doing. We should all be doing that. We should hype him up."
Exactly.
So yeah, the whole energy was something I take with me.
It's amazing. Tugçe, what about you? Outside of everything that we've talked about, what was your favorite part of the show?
I think A Sky Full of Stars was really nice because we put our phones back and it was just us, and you can see from the videos that everyone was involved, and it was a happy moment. For me, My Universe was something else. I really lost myself in My Universe. It really means a lot to me, and it's one of my favorite songs. I really lost myself. I screamed so much. I danced so much. It was really nice. And Sparks obviously it was not a surprise because I knew it would come, but it, yeah, it was so emotional. Magic in German was obviously a surprise, and yeah, also that the cameraman came in front of me and someone from the crew took a picture of me. I don't know who it was, and
wow,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
love that.
Also that I got Guy, Chris, and Johnny's attention. That was also nice.
Nice.
I will remember that forever, definitely. And I'm looking forward to next week.
That's amazing. Well, I'm just going through some of the comments here. Firstly, I was incorrect. I think they played Magic in German at night too as well. So someone's correcting me on that. So that's good.
Good.
Secondly, I think Nathan here is talking about love seeing the reaction of people who've never seen or heard the Light Club section before. I agree. And I was looking at the tour book interviews today, and in that Phil talked about we're never gonna apologize for kind of just having fun, really, and just like being experimental and everything. And I absolutely love that energy.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely love that energy.
Yeah, that's great.
And I agree with you guys. Sky Full of Stars is just a different moment altogether. It's a shame you didn't get to see the full fireworks display that can happen at a Coldplay show, but I think you'll get to see that in the next few shows that you guys are going to, because that's another whole aspect of the show that's pretty incredible. So let's see. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Well, the last thing I want to ask you, and this is something I ask everyone, so you have to be prepared for this, and I'll start with Celine. Celine, you've been to Head Full of Dreams shows, and now you've been to Music of the Sphere show. Which show do you prefer?
Well, again, there's the bias of politics.
Fair.
Because clearly that was my favorite show yet. but it is biased because of that. I think it's tough because A Head Full of Dreams was really the perfect tour. Like, it was so perfect. It was like I mean, the set list was so well thought out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was such like it had its moments, and it was so it was already that perfect, and then to make it even better is like pretty much impossible, and yet I had a better time. So but I think to judge the tour I would have to wait a bit. What I do have to point out is that actually there have been quite a lot of surprises throughout this tour already,
Yeah.
and I would say probably more than they were during the Head Full of Dreams tour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already, I think, a plus, because I mean, people have pointed out the similarities between Head Full of Dreams and Music of the Spheres as world tours. They're very similar live experiences, if we're completely honest. The set list already has a lot of similarities. The overall experience is really quite similar, but actually you can tell that they keep thinking about the set list. They keep trying to have like different guests and different moments here and there at some points. And yeah, if we actually look at the facts, I think there have been more surprises this tour so far than the previous tour. So that's a bonus.
I agree. That's a good observation. This is why we have you on, because you make observations that I have missed out on as well. Um, no, I agree absolutely. I'm looking at the comment here as well. Charter Runaway, talking about both visually and setlist wise, the mod store is a step up, and I completely agree. Yeah, someone else also talking about way more setlist changes on the store. Absolutely, I think they. I know it's still early on. We still have about, I don't know, lots of shows left.
Yeah.
At least 50 more booked. God knows how many more we'll have more after this. Um, I agree. We've had a lot of surprises, a lot of fun guests, a lot of fun moments. Like we didn't talk about this, but in night two, we again had her performing "Let Somebody Go" with Chris on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that
Mm-hmm.
might become a thing in the future.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Party. That's now probably going to be a thing, at least for all of Europe, if not all the way to Latin America. Maybe some other changes might happen here and there. So we'll see. I mean, we have a long, long way to go. Tugçe, I know you didn't have a chance to go to a Head Full of Dreams show, sadly, but it's okay. You're going to lots of shows now. My question to you would be different. Is it everything you expected it would be, or did it even surpass all your expectations?
Difficult question because I had a lot of spoilers from Twitter,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but living it yourself is really something else. So all my expectations were low. It was more than expected, definitely, and it felt more. Even though I became a fan during A Head Full of Dreams, I thought it will be personal for me, but experiencing it now myself is more personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the attitude of the boys, they don't give a shit about other people. They don't care about what others say, makes a difference for this tour too. Even though they had it in Helpful of Dreams tour too, but you can see it now. They don't care. They just love the music. They love to perform, and you can feel that energy. So yeah, I'm excited what's more to come, but Mods is really something else. Yeah.
Mods is really something else. I love to hear that. Anytime I remember Seb, who's also on our ColdplayXtra team, after two shows, just put in one message saying like, "Okay, it is confirmed. Music of the Spheres is better than Head Full of Dreams ever was." And I only have one reaction to it. It's that DJ Khaled gif of like another one, like another one. I'm convinced another one.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. You guys had such an incredible time. Claire here is talking about we might get some more mega surprises in France, in Paris. We might. You never know. So, and I know you guys are going to lots of more shows as well. So, Europe is just starting up. The hype in
Yeah.
Europe is just starting up. It's going to be absolutely incredible. But with that said, since you have many shows to go to, I will also let you guys go and rest up a little bit and get through the stages of recovery and then anticipation for the
Yeah.
next shows. Chat, once again, thank you as always. We're gonna wrap up here for today, but as always, Celine, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything you do, and it's always so much fun to have you. And Tugçe, thank you for joining us for the first time. I
Thank you
hope you
for
had a good
having
time.
me. Yeah.
And chat, once again, we're gonna call it for today. But thank you for joining. Thank you for participating, and we'll see you guys next time. All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care. See you guys next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.